People of the internet, welcome to the Atheist Edge. I am today joined by the Afro-Atheist and Dean of Atheist Republic Cape Town.
Hello.
Esther, how are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you, Kaz. And yourself? How are you?
Not too bad. Thank you so much for asking. Happy New Year. Dean, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I can't complain. I love to complain, but nobody likes to listen. That's my problem.
I'll listen. I will listen, Dean.
I'll listen to your complaints all day.
Exactly, I'll listen.
I'm sure the audience doesn't mind. So what is the plans for New Year's Eve tonight? Or wait a minute. Let's get something straight here. I'm not in the same time zone as you guys. You guys are where are you guys at? Just tell the audience.
I'm GMT +2, so I am probably half a day ahead of you.
Oh yeah. So it's like 1 p.m. there for you. What about you, Esther?
Yeah.
It's 11 a.m. here.
11 a.m. So
you guys are gone past 11. No, we're not in the same time zone. I'm in the UK.
Okay, so both of your New Year's Eve is still forthcoming.
Yep.
Okay. So to make sure in the same year here.
Yes, we're still in 2022. We haven't crossed over just yet.
We need a flat earther to come on the stream right now and tell us how we're not in different time zones.
I was going to say, on God's flat earth, how can it be? How can it be earlier for you?
Something's wrong here. We can all just go outside and point our cameras at the sky and prove that the earth is round real quick for that.
Yeah. I never could get over. It's like watching a car crash, driving past a car crash. You don't want to look, but you cannot help yourself you cannot stop yourself from gawking at the carnage that's next to the road. And that's what I feel like whenever I encounter these people who are so influenced by religion that it changes their whole reality, because without fail, like 98% of these people who go into these crazy conspiracy theories have got some religious influence somewhere along the line.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes they try to hide it, but it's obvious that there's some kind of religious aspect there. Why else would they? The Caribbean Skeptic, Secularist. Good to see you.
That's Phil.
What's up, Phil?
And Linda Pendleton, good to see you again. Favorite of the show. Love to see her here. So I got some articles for us to react to if you guys want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just go ahead and pop that on the screen.
Would you like us to quickly share a little bit about ourselves?
Sorry, Kaz. Before we start,
I'm so sorry. Obviously.
Sorry for interrupting. I mean, we didn't even ask how you doing, Kaz. How are you doing? How's
your day? I don't like to talk about how I'm doing. It's never that.
Come on, you got to give us a little bit more than that.
It looks very well. It looks very well.
Well, thank you for saying that. But
I remember catching one of his. There was a debate that you did recently, and wow, I was like, yes, whatever that man's selling, I'm buying. He was just going in. On modern day debates.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Oh no, you trashed that debate.
Oh, thank you. I never feel that way.
Oh well, I feel that way.
So tell me about your show, Esther.
Okay, so
I've seen it, but tell the audience, I guess. I've seen it.
I'm the Afro-Atheist. I started my channel as a result of my deconversion. YouTube was a very huge part of why I am no longer a Christian today, and I'm now an atheist. But I realized then that there are not many African female atheists about, and if there were, they weren't quite public, they weren't quite vocal. And so I decided, okay, I would be a voice. I would be a representation of the African side of things when it comes to atheism. because when you think Dean would bear me witness. When you think atheists and atheism, what comes to your mind?
Old
White
white men.
Probably with the glasses up to there. Oh,
Unfortunately.
and so yeah, we're representing. There's a growing number of people who are realizing that religion is nothing but man-made constructs, and so yeah, we're out here showing up and showing out and just being a voice. So hence the birth of my channel.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for doing that too, because you're absolutely right. That is something that we just don't have a lot of people from other backgrounds, different voices in this community. It's just a lot of, I mean, no offense to the white guys that are doing it. They're most of them are great, but got a super chat from Malvea for $5 to say his girlfriend is black, also an atheist. He says you aren't alone, my friend. Hell yeah, awesome. And Dean, your channel. I've been on your channel before. Tell them about that.
Yeah. So, it's more or less the same idea that motivated Esther to start the channel. Was in part my motivation as well, because I live in Africa. I'm living in the most southern country in Africa, and we, whenever we approached people of African ethnicity with the idea of atheism, they balk at the idea, and it was always told to us, well, atheism is the luxury of old white men. It has no utility or place in Africa, and Africans are inherently spiritual. And I said, well, this actually doesn't play out with my experience. So I made it a point to find as many women and atheists of African ethnicity, and to interview them and just talk about their journey away from faith. And I have a very set format, and it's very interesting to, when you ask the same 6 questions of diverse people from diverse backgrounds, you'll be very surprised to see the similarities. And I think that just our exposure to information and the wealth of information that's at our fingertips is really changing the way that people react to authority. Especially a couple of decades ago, when you had an authoritative person standing at the pulpit throwing ideas around, people used to just buy it. And nowadays, even in the African context, we're encountering a lot of skepticism. You can go to any single country on the continent and you will find a community of atheists. I found them in Kenya, in Uganda, in Nigeria, Egypt, everywhere I look. There's an active community of atheists. And those days where there's this meme that always comes to mind when it compares the old atheists and the new atheists. The old atheists and then had a thought bubble that says, I don't think there's a God, and then the new atheists, there's a speech bubble that says, I don't think there's a God, So there's a very big shift in the cultural zeitgeist happening. It's happening very slowly at a snail's pace, granted, here in Africa, but it's happening. And that's what makes me hopeful, and makes me want to continue doing this. Don't die, Kaz. Take a sip of water.
And Dean,
my video should be anti-smoking ads.
Dean, I like what Dean does, Kaz. How I met Dean. Dean wanted to point out that, look, Africans, there are a lot more Africans who are speaking out and who are becoming non-religious. And so he asked if I could come on his show for an interview. And he does do that, interview people from just everywhere and promoting these people, making sure that, look, they've got space in this whatever we call community, atheism, So Dean, thank you. Through Dean, I've met quite a few people. I mean, through Dean, I've talked to Dr. Leo Igwe. I think it was someone else. There's a lady, Yemisi Lesomi on Facebook. So Dean, thank you. Amazing.
That is awesome. Thank you, Dean. And thank you too, Esther, for your job, your work that you do. I wanted to ask you guys about the religious experience in your countries. When you're going down the street, when you're just out and about, how much religion is in your face all the time? Because here in America, we have I guess we have more atheists than other countries, but still, it's not like we have some kind of,
So Nigeria is, when you think religion, think Nigeria. It has a population of over 200 and something million people. 50% of that population, half, is Muslim. Well, before it was Christians, but now the dynamics are they've shifted. 50% Muslims, 49 point something odd percent are Christians, right?
Mm-hmm.
Less than 1% are the others. And when you say the others, you now narrow it down to the spiritualists, the traditional worshippers, the atheists. So in that number, you have it's a 0.1% of that population of 200 and something million people are atheists. So everywhere you look, there is a church. In fact, there's a picture that floats around. I would suggest people just, Google. There's a picture, 8 churches in one building. There's one, it's about 3-4 story building. This building is, there are 8 churches in one building. So a church has now become an individual thing. Kaz can have his own Kaz Jesus Reformation Center. I can have the Esther Saint of Christ. Dean, the Dean,
the Immaculate, the Lady, Our Lady of the Immaculate Fleecing.
So that's where Christianity is at right now. Islam, that's a completely different subject, because then you have Boko Haram, you have all that. Recently there was a young girl that was killed. A Christian girl was killed because she simply asked for her college WhatsApp group to be kept free of Islamic propaganda, and something she said, the Muslims were offended, and she lost her life.
The wrong way.
Exactly. So in that side of the world, unfortunately, there's a lot of work to do.
Are you guys allowed to arm yourselves?
No.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of red tape here, but you can do it. But the thing is, there's no point really, because it's not like it's very seldom when you encounter firearms here, it will generally be in the context of like a violent crime. It'll be either like a hijacking or something along those lines, where it's opportunistic. The majority of the crime it just happens. It's petty crime by force. People don't generally rely on firearms to do their thing. And I think it's the same with you guys in the UK. Is that there's a lot of regulation and that kind of thing involved, right? It's not easy to just go to a store and buy a firearm.
Oh no! No.
Here as well, it's not easy. You have to go through extensive periods of application and psychological evaluations and police checks and all of that.
Yeah. So Kaz, I'm originally Nigerian,
Yeah, so I was just gonna
Malawian,
ask.
and now reside in the UK. So
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, yeah.
And is
don't be
that?
sorry.
I'm sure that must be a totally different thing. But what was it? So my mom used to have a friend who was a cook and an author from Nigeria, and we used to taste Nigerian food. And I don't remember any of the stories that she used to tell us, but I I I just I'm wondering how different it is to be in UK for versus Nigeria because it must be different than America, obviously.
It was a culture shock when I
Yeah.
got here the very first time. Complete culture shock. But I've had over 20 years to get over the culture shocks. Right now, I it's still a bit of a struggle, right? Because no matter how much I try, I can never develop the British accent. No matter how much I try, so it's you just get on with it. Um, my boys, because they were born and raised here, we so many things we clash, right? There's some
Hmm.
things I would say. My boys are like, Mom, that's not how you pronounce that. They're my English teachers, them too. Um,
That's cute.
for the food, I mean, now my palate has completely changed. I when I'm in
Oh
Nigeria,
wow.
I completely struggle to eat Nigerian food. It's a huge struggle. I can't. Yeah,
Do you get to go
I
back ever?
the last time I was back there was in 2017.
Not that
So
long ago. Okay.
yeah,
Um, and do the people in Nigeria that you have that are family, do they know about your atheism, about your activism?
Eesh. Now they know. Now they know. So
The cat's out of the bag.
when I came out, I came out to my immediate family, my siblings, um, and so they knew. Now the wider family in Nigeria started to see my videos, and wow, they do it. They started to send my videos to my siblings. Look what your sister is getting up to. How is your sister an atheist? Does she know what it means to be an atheist? But because I'd come out to them already, they said, look, she has we don't understand it, but she has come out to us. And so I'm just at the point where before I came out, it was strategic and deliberate. I made sure that I was at a point in my life where uh, I'm I'm completely independent. I feed myself and my family, right? And so I don't need you to feed me. So your opinions at the end of the day doesn't mean anything. You can think whatever you want about me. You can say whatever you want about me. It will not change my beliefs, it will not change how I feel. So you just have to get over yourself. And so it was strategic. I made sure that I was in a point in my life where people's opinions mean nothing. Say what you like. So yeah, and I don't entertain the nonsense. When I first came out as an atheist, I was quite public about it. I was on Facebook and Instagram. I no longer believe. I've dumped Christianity. I listen. Anyone that could hear me, you need to hear me. It was public, and so I had family members come in the back trying to, you know, are you saying you don't believe in God anymore? Oh, but this, and they started sending me different things, proof for the existence of God, different articles and different. I've even had people drop books anonymously. I just go to the door. There's someone, Amazon delivery. There's a book
Really?
waiting for
Free
me.
content.
It's anonymous about I was an atheist, now I'm a Christian. Okay, so what's that got to do with me? The
Mhm.
book is somewhere there, but I've never read it. So
No?
no, I
Let's read them
haven't read
together.
it. I,
We'll
I
turn them
should.
into shows.
Okay, that's something we could do.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
To address the chat, Perfect Dawa asked, because this is actually quite in line with what Esther's saying here. I did at the debate con that just passed. I asked Daniel Hakikachu if he would debate you, and he said no. He said he's not going to do that. He did not give me much of an explanation, so I can't really speak as to why he won't debate you. I did get a book from Kenny, who is another Muslim debater, and he also will not debate you, Perfect Dawa. So I don't know why they won't debate you. I don't think that it's a smart thing to not debate you. I wish that they would, and I'm still willing to host that, but got to get an interlocutor first. So if you know any other Islamic apologists who would like to debate you on my show, I would love to have you. So that's that.
But strange, you know, for me, Kaz, you know, my atheism within my family, it's sort of like that, you know, when you have an uncle in prison, everybody knows about him, but nobody talks about him.
Yeah. That's so sad.
It's like that. Yeah, it's like that. So everybody knows about it, but it's never discussed, you know. I think that
I wonder if my family knows about me.
Yeah, they approached me with a set of very thick gloves. I don't know, but mind you, you know, like I decided long ago that my relationship with my religious family is more important to me than my atheism is. You know, like it's not a hill that I choose to die on to sacrifice a religion. You know, if you know Auntie May or Uncle Bob or Jimmy Bob from whatever branch of the family feels the need to pray before they eat, you know, like I'm not going to have a fit. And you know, it's like, to me, it's really a non-issue at this stage. You know, like I will only, I'll only be vocal about it and oppose it when people turn it into an imposition. When it becomes an imposition upon me, my space, my life, whatever I do, or, you know, whether it impedes any progress in my life, that's when you'll definitely hear from me. But otherwise, it's a bit of a non-issue, you know, like you guys said earlier, you know, like when you just, you know, it's like a shiny new toy when you just discover, you know, like this, you know, it's like the skies open and you see for the first time, you get very excited about that, you know, you want to test these ideas and, you know, see what other people think about them. And you just want to talk about it 24/7 every single day of the week. And then I'm just speaking from myself, you know, like it really settled into, you know, after a decade, it really settles into a very even indifference about religion. It's really, for me, it's the motivating thing at the moment is building a community, you know, because I knew how lonely and isolated I felt when I just left religion, you know, like, and I did it very covertly. It wasn't an overt, you know, it wasn't like I just jumped and go like, there's no God, like fuck all of you, you know, it was more like it was a, no, I wouldn't say a shock to the system, you know, but it was something that really consumed an inordinate amount of my thinking, my processing cycles up here. You know, like it really kept me busy for such a long time unnecessarily. And I just wished that I had a community of people that I could speak to at the time, you know, like, and that's when, you know, I encountered the Atheist Republic, you know, decided to join, and, you know, now we're basically running the South African side of it. And, you know, it's good to have a community of people. And that's something that, you know, I think that's what atheists can learn from the church and from religion. They are so good at building communities. They're good at building communities, fostering good relationships. And we are a social species by nature. By nature, we gravitate towards social interactions. Authentic social interactions are what really drives us as people. And yeah, we just try to create that space.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I know that there are atheist organizations that do charity work, that give out food and help the homeless and whatnot. They are, you know, few and far between, just as we are, you know. I wish that we had the infrastructure to I guess we're trying to build that right now, aren't we? That's what we're doing here. I know one
Exactly.
of my goals, if I ever have, the funds or whatever, to build some kind of facility, some place where atheists can come and congregate and work together. But more than that, just to help each other live and help, the wider community, the broader population. I've seen, I was at a food pantry, a Christian one recently, and it's just beautiful to see that they do that. They, of course, will use God as the reason why they're doing it, but maybe they're just good people using God as an excuse to be good. And I think that we can do that too. I think we can be good people, and we don't need an excuse. We can just, help people out. We need to build more of that stuff. Definitely.
So
It's
when
difficult.
when I when I first when I first came out as an atheist, like Dean, the isolation was a real huge deal. I live in a very secular country, the UK, very very secular, but then most of the people here are people that haven't been religious at all, right? Most of their lives, just religion is not a thing. And I come from a community where religion is it's it's ingrained in you. And so coming away from religion, the people around me can't relate because they haven't had the struggles that I have. And my other family, my other friends, they're all still religious. And so it's like being in a world of my own. So the community online have been very, very helpful and very, very useful. And that's why most times I'm live streaming. I'm on here just connecting with other people who think like me. Because when I log off, um, my everyday life, I don't talk about this stuff. I don't, there's just no one to talk about these things with. I'm thinking it, but I can't verbalize it, you know? So because I'm part of a humanist, the Humanist UK. I joined that, and that's been really good because when I left Christianity, it was so lonely, and the isolation. I suffered a deep depression. It was really bad. That was the one time that I realized how much loneliness can cause depression, right? And so I joined the humanist group, and that's been really good. But for a lot of them, they can't relate. They've never been religious. They've never understood what it was to be in a very strict religious background, and now to come away from that, when God has been the deciding factor of everything you do, from your waking moment, you're praying, God, thank you for waking me up, to your eating, thank you for the food on my table. You're about to step out the house, God, take me out and bring me back safely. You're about to drive your car, oh Lord, take over the wheels, and I cover this car in the blood of Jesus. You're on the motorway, I cover the motorway in the blood of Jesus. You're going out with your friends. It's God was a part of every single thing. And
Yes.
to get rid of that uh um the God factor in your life, oh my goodness, it was huge, because all along it was me. There was no God. This person I thought was the one that I prayed to, the one that I thought he was there watching everything I did. He wasn't even there. So it was a huge experience. But thankfully, the community online have been a a wonderful um place. But they do
Yes.
tell you, oh, but you're online, it's online. But it's, for me, it's been good, because without the online community, I probably would have, I don't know, but I don't know what I would have done. But yeah, so things like this is very, very important. We need these.
Yes. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I
how
mean,
can you
to
not feel
just
isolated?
tie into what Esther is saying is, from a psychological perspective, it is traumatic. It's a traumatic experience to leave your religion behind. It's like you're completely discarding a part of your identity. And people, some people struggle to deal with that trauma. That's why you'll find the knee-jerk reaction is sometimes to go back to the religion, just to ease the dissonance and the conflict that people experience because of the trauma of leaving that environment. And like Esther said as well, it's a very high control environment. So it tries to control every aspect of your life: what you think, what you eat, what you do, who you see, who you sleep with, who you associate with, the entire the entire spectrum. And from coming out of that control environment is traumatic. You do need to process it, and the best thing is to reach out to a community and to be part of a community, to help you deal with that, because there's no greater therapy for any situation than discovering solidarity in other people within your group. Like when you realize, hey, shit, this person's also gone through something. They've dealt with it in this way, and I'm going to be okay. That kind of solidarity that you find is great therapy, especially for religious trauma. And we discussing, myself and Esper, we experienced the mild trauma of religion. They're people who are seriously traumatized psychologically by these ideas. Some of the religions are extremely cultish in their behavior and in their control and their hold over people's lives.
Definitely. I think I'm one of them. Religion has really gotten me to think really bad things over the years and do bad things, because this idea that you can make up for it later, that you can make it all good by saying a magic spell. I ask for forgiveness. It's all good. That's just cancer. It's toxic.
It's rather sickening when you think about it now, right? Think about the place they call heaven, right? What that's going to look like. You're going to have murderers there. You're going to have rapists there. You're going to have degenerates there, because all they had to do was say, I'm sorry. But you who have just tried to be as good a human being as you possibly can be, right? You've loved on your neighbors, you've loved on your family, you've done as much as possible the right things, what we would consider right. But for the simple fact that you did not believe in Jesus, that's it. You get to not go there. It's crazy.
Right. And it's like they think they have this monopoly on the idea of forgiveness because God forgives everything. But I mean, they don't forgive each other. It's not an interpersonal kind of forgiveness. It's you get to absolve yourself of your sins by talking to your imaginary friend, but then everybody else has to deal with whatever you've been, what you're going to be still. I think that a secular model of forgiveness and love is much better, because it's going to allow us to not only take accountability of each other, but ourselves as well.
Well said.
So, Kaz, I would like to know a little bit about yourself, how you become an atheist, if you don't mind. I'd love to hear that, just in few words.
I was born into the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh, wow.
My family took me out of that when I was about 12 years old because of the divorce of my parents. So that was the first thing. Then I joined the military. I went to Iraq. That was the second thing, I guess. And then I went to college and got a degree. The college itself was a Baptist university, and I was required to take religious studies classes, Old and New Testament history. And after I took those, I was pretty sure that I would never be a Christian again.
So the Bible made you an atheist.
Yes, definitely. What about you, Esther? You were Christian before,
Oh yes, I
Yeah.
was a Christian. Yes.
and how did you convert or deconvert?
Sorry, say that again.
How did you deconvert?
Oh goodness. It was a long journey. There wasn't one specific thing. I think it all started really when my son was 9 years old. He came to me one morning and said, "Mom, I don't want to be a Christian anymore." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, we were taught that when Jesus died, there was so much blood everywhere. Mom, he said, I don't like blood. He said, Mom, I don't want to have anything to do with that. He said, no, I don't want to be a Christian. I was in my head, I was thinking, what came to my mind was I would be in heaven and he would be in hell. Oh no, I couldn't have that happening. So I said to him, look, do you like your Christmas presents? Because I knew he likes Christmas. He likes Christmas presents. He said, yes. I said, without Christ, who you're about to ditch, there's no Christmas. And there's no Christmas. I said, you've got to forfeit your Christmas presents if you don't um um if you don't believe. If yeah Listen, I was trying to, that was my
Yeah,
way of trying to keep him as a Christian. I came away from that conversation feeling really bad,
yeah, I can
that
imagine.
here I was, my 9-year-old is telling me why he finds it problematic that someone would die in such a barbaric death, right? And he doesn't want anything to do with that. I, who is supposed to be the good parent, should be saying to him, look, your points are valid, right? You have a point, and to support him. Here I
Hmm.
am trying to dissuade him and trying to tell him reasons why he should remain a Christian, right? And
Right.
so I felt like, okay, I need to figure this out. Why do I believe what I believe? Right?
Hmm.
Why? Why Christianity? Why? Because now here's my son saying he doesn't want to be a Christian, and I'm trying to force him to be a Christian. And so I think when I started asking those questions, why? Why do I believe what I believe? Slowly started to realize that, look, um, I didn't really choose this. I was born into this. And there really a time when I did the homework of figuring Christianity out, and the more I asked questions, let's just say slowly those bricks started to fall apart. It just
Yeah.
slowly, just one brick at a time, until it all just came crashing down. And I said, no, there was never sufficient evidence to believe in the first place. I just, culture had no choice. So, but now I have a choice. And my son, who's 20 years old now, my other son, he is what I would consider a lifelong atheist. When we would go to church, he just could never could it never made sense to him, right?
Right.
Force him to church, force him try, because how on earth will I be in heaven and my two sons are in hell? Do you
Right.
know how terrifying that is? Do you
Mm.
know?
Yeah.
So I did everything in my power to try and get them indoctrinated, but it just didn't work. So when I became an atheist, one thing I had to do was to apologize to my son, the big one, for the days when we tried to force him to go to church. Just, I realized that what I was doing was wrong. So I apologized to him. And secondly, I had to say to him, thank you. I thanked him for not buying into the nonsense, right? For sticking to his guns. And he asked me, Mom, he said, do you now realize how just those Bible stories didn't make sense to me? That when we would be in church, all the adults are nodding their heads to these Bible stories, and he's just thinking, how is it making sense to these people? Those things didn't make sense at all. I said, son, I understand it now. 100% I do. So I'm just thankful that my two boys, they figured this out
That's a
before
beautiful
I
story.
did. Mm.
It's like a testament to your ability to teach them critical thinking and empathy. So thank you for that. Really, for giving the world them.
I wouldn't take the credit for that. It's the credit is theirs. They they've got it up there. I'm learning from them, in fact.
Yeah, definitely. But I think you should take some credit. Dean, how about you? What about your deconversion story?
Oh my goodness. Well, you know, I don't know. Growing up, it never sat right with me. You know, like I just. I'm the type of person. You know, I'm an all or nothing kind of person. You know, like so when I went into religion, I went hard. I went all the way. You know, like I didn't do it like in half measures, and I just never could get it. You know, I was always thinking when I was younger, there's something wrong with me because you know, everybody's describing all these amazing spiritual experiences, and for me, it was just empty. You know, like I didn't get that kind of experience to it, you know, and I got disillusioned to the extent that I thought, fuck, maybe it's the wrong religion. Maybe I need to try another religion, you know, like, and I was doing like religion a la carte. You know, today I was ordering from this one, tomorrow I was ordering from that restaurant. And eventually, I mean, it was probably my late 30s, you know, and that's one, the only thing I regret is the amount of time that I wasted obsessing and poring over this and ruminating and I wasted so much time in my life going over this. But at one stage it dawned on me, and I don't know how I never saw this, you know, like I was probably standing right next to the tree and I couldn't see the forest. So I asked myself, or it just occurred to me, you know, like, look, there's so many different religions out there. They cannot all be true at the same time, you know. So I was stuck in this thing of having to pick the right one. And then eventually I said to myself, wait a minute, they cannot all be true at the same time, but they can all be false at the same time. And from there, it was probably a period of 48 hours. And I was like, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be me. And then, you know, I went down the rabbit hole of you know, looking for other people, because it was a bit of a shock to me, because the environment in which I was living then wasn't too religious overtly, but my family was extremely religious, you know, extremely religious, and still is to this day. And I mean, I had to have that conversation. You know, I had to say, the passive aggressive Bible verses on instant messaging, the snide "we'll pray for you" and all of that, you know, like it's not going to work, you know, like, and there's certain members of my family, like the older folk, I didn't bother with them, you know, like they don't, it's not going to change anything in their lives or my lives for them to know. But like the select group of my family that I did exposed to it, I was just look, I value our relationship more than I value this particular aspect, you know. So if you want to go there, we can go there, but I'm fine for the moment just to let that be, because like I said, our relationship as family is more important to me than dying on this particular hill. But if you choose to go there, just beware that you are going to meet some resistance, and you know, like those you know, I'm too how can I'm not assertive enough to like outright block someone on one of my family members, especially when those passive aggressive Bible verses and you know, Jesus loves you kind of shit comes through, you know, and you just like, oh, for fuck's sake, this again, snooze.
I was gonna bring that up. Like for me, I tried to do what you said, Dean, to try to just let people have their own beliefs, and my relationships with them are more important than anything else, because in the end, whoever is right is right, and we don't have access to perfect knowledge anyways. And
Mm.
personally, I just would rather, if I am right, be around to be right than to not be around. But I find that the religious people in my life are the ones that will bring it up. Now that they know that I'm an atheist and they know that I'm, I am vocal about it, as this show is a testament to. They will always use little phrases, little passive aggressive turns of the situation to try to bring it up again. And I'm like, I'm not the one bringing it up. I'm not the one. But in that situation, I feel like if you brought it up, I'm allowed to,
Explore it,
let loose. Am I wrong?
Yeah. But they're like a dog with a bone. They won't let go of this particular thing, and it never ceases to amaze me. It's it's like sometimes I want to say to them, like, just let it go. Like it's not going to happen. Just let it go. And every year it's like let's come. Let us all pray. Won't you go call Dean? Bring Dean as well.
Let's liven up the party with a little argument.
For fuck's sake, this again.
So Perfect Dawa had DM'd me, said he wanted to come on the stream, and I sent him the link, and he's not here. And then I got another message from the Caribbean Skeptic Secularist, and they wanted to come on the stream too, which is fine with me. What do you guys think?
Oh, it's Phil. Yeah, we know Phil.
The more the merrier.
They have the link now. We're just waiting on that. So let me pull up these articles and let me show you guys what I found. Okay. The Freedom from Religion Foundation castigates the White House. The White House's get out of jail free card to India and Nigeria. I was looking for articles on global secularism, and this one is about it's kind of a call out to the Biden administration for not doing enough to support the religious freedoms in nations like India, where Muslims are being oppressed, and Nigeria, where atheists are being oppressed. They're talking about the Morabak Bala case. You guys are aware of that?
Yeah.
No?
Well,
okay.
Aware of which one? You mean I'm quite aware of Mubarak's case.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's one I was talking about. Okay, so just for anybody who doesn't know, I have another article about that too. I can just put that up. If you want to tell them what you know about it already, then I'll pull up the article and fill it out there.
So Mubarak Bala has been sentenced to 24 years behind bars. Mubarak, he was a Muslim, but he openly declared that he wasn't a Muslim anymore. And his family, of course, they couldn't have that. They committed him to a psychiatric institution where he was forcefully given all these medications and things. And because how on earth can you be an atheist and leave Islam behind? He then became I think he was then the Humanist Association of Nigeria's president at the time. It was his Facebook posts that got him where he is today. The people were offended over his posts. The Muslims. It was something. Some of the posts were, some of the things he was saying was, "Look, I actually think that Prophet so and so. You see, he just would make examples, different prophets in Nigeria. That this person is a better prophet than your Prophet Muhammad, and for them, that's blasphemy." And his treatment has been so unfair, and he unfortunately 977 days just for Facebook posts, and because he doesn't believe in Islam anymore. The Sharia law shouldn't have to apply to him. He is not a Muslim. But unfortunately, it's the technicalities. What they said is, if he was indeed a Muslim, he would be dead right now. So he's you guys should be thankful that he is not a Muslim, because if he was a Muslim, it would have been the death penalty. So Yeah, I could say a lot about him because I've actually been in touch with him. I've
Oh, you
been,
have? Really?
I have, yes. I've had
That's
some
amazing.
communication
I
with him, yes.
I definitely feel like I want to be bringing this up on a regular basis until, if hopefully he ever gets out of detention, just because my heart goes out to him and his family.
Yes.
And I don't want to. If we don't stand up for him, then who are we going to stand up for when they come? Who's going to stand up for us when they come for us? Which is a possibility.
So this is like I just wanted to add on to this that the common denominator with all these cases is Islam. Islam is the cancer that's creating this kind of a system in a country where people are being censored for what they say and for what they speak. And what do we call that? We call that totalitarianism. It's a step away from fascism, where everything you say and do is expected to align with a specific idea. It's the antithesis to what we deem as freedom in the Western world, and in any free, democratically run society. This kind of thought control and control over what people do it's the complete opposite of it. So, the sensitivity of Islam upon receiving criticism is the thing that I personally think we should work on. And you look at cases like, for example, they hold the grudge for a very long time. I mean, look in the case of Salman Rushdie, who was stabbed after how many, attacked in public after how many years. We have to, the only way that you can enjoy your freedom of speech is to exercise it. Somebody once said, the idea of freedom of speech to a Muslim is like the idea of gravity to a cockroach. You need to exert it in order for them to experience the impact of that. So, the only way, it's going to take a lot of struggle and a lot of pain to get there. But the more we exercise our right to speak up against this ultimate tyranny and imposition of religion, it's strange. I always think of it in the countries where Muslims are in a majority, they're always oppressed. They cry oppression and victimhood very quickly. But the country where Muslims are in a majority, there's no opposition whatsoever. It's squashed, silenced. It doesn't exist because they will deal with opposition by force and by sword.
Absolutely.
So it's a great it's something that I really plan to focus on, and I'm actually in the environment where I have the luxury. I mean, I don't think I'll ever get a death threat on my life one day for what I'm squealing about, But I think it's our duty just to highlight these things, and especially in Western countries, Islam has a very small, negligible impact on our lives. We don't really experience, especially in the US. Yeah, maybe more so in the UK, but here in South Africa as well, it's a very small minority of the population that has got an Islamic element to their belief system. So when we have the luxury of speaking about it without any threat of recourse or any threat to our freedoms and our lives, then we should do it. Because the more vocal and the more opposition it encounters, the more it will embolden other people, and especially people in countries and communities where they are oppressed by this religion. It will embolden them to also take a stand and to speak up, because by keeping quiet, we are actually, we are signaling that we are assenting to the imposition.
No, you're absolutely right. I wanted to mention also that I'm sorry if you already mentioned this, Esther, but he's been sentenced to 24 years in prison, and the charge was he was causing a public disturbance due to the blasphemous content of the Facebook posts that you mentioned. I was not able to see them myself, did not have time to really dig into them, so they may still be out there. And I just wanted to say that the link to his support page is going to be in the references document that's in I'm just going to put it in the description after this is over, but it's in that references document right now. If you want to click on that Google Doc, anybody watching, you can donate to that and help try to free Murbach, which is something that I think we all should work for. If you need a reason to do it, then whether you're atheist or not, just think of that Holocaust memorial poem, First They Came, by Pastor Martin Niemöller. You know that it doesn't matter if you share the demographics with somebody else. If they're going through something and you can help, you should, just because one day it might be you. And that's just logic. Perfect Dawa is finally here. So, hey.
Hello, how are you?
Dawa. Not too bad. Should we call you Dawa, or is that sacrilegious?
Muji is my
Muji.
short. Yeah. Hello, how are you, everyone?
Hey, hello, Muji.
Yeah, hi. I'm here, not here to debate. I'm just here to have a dialogue, friendly dialogue, as usually I would like to have. But I would like to say to Dean that I'm a former, apostate. Okay. If you would like to, I'm born in a Muslim family, and at the age of 25, I started to think like you, sister, Afro-Atheist. Yeah, I can call you. Yeah, I started.
Esther. You can call me Esther.
Esther, yes. Sorry,
Yes.
I started to think like you. Where is God? God doesn't exist, and so on. So I became atheist. But anyway, later I learned other things, and then I changed my mind and I converted to Islam. And I have to say, Dean, I am absolutely against that fascist Islam that you say, okay? And that's why I have asked Kaz to arrange, a debate between me and these backward extremist Muslims, okay? Like Daniel, I call him Daniel ISIS Jew, because his surname is Daniel Haqiqatju. Haqiqatju is a Persian surname, means seeking the truth. But he's not seeking the truth, he's seeking ISIS. I call him always Daniel ISIS Jew, because I am the biggest enemy of that Islam, and we are not alone. We have been fighting. I am following an organization. We are millions fighting Iranian fascist regime in 43 years. So we are absolutely the biggest enemy of that Islam. And this, laws of laws, they don't exist. That's why they are afraid of, debating me. It's not that, they don't take me serious or whatever. They are afraid, because if you tell them, they say, oh, come on, you are a kafir, okay? You are not a Muslim. But to me, they cannot, because I can bring them from Quran that there is no any punishment on this planet for anyone, even for a murderer, because God says that if I was going to punish people for their mistakes and bad deeds, there would be not a single person on this planet left. Okay, but I have given them time so that they learn and they change. Okay, so we have no right to punish anybody, because we are all sinners ourselves. We cannot punish anybody. So that's why I'm against punishment at all, because the judge who judge you to, want to execute you or punish you, he might be himself a corrupted man or a murderer himself. We don't know anything, okay? And we don't know why that person did something, okay? What was behind his, reason that he murdered someone or so on. So anyway, I would like to say that Islam is something that I'm fighting it, okay? And if anybody check my channel, you see that I always, I never talk against other religions, because I have learned that respect everyone's, views, unless it is harmful. It's, like this ISIS and Taliban, unless it's not that, then I just respect your beliefs, and I believe that we have to live in peace and love. Okay.
Can I?
I also want to pipe in. I just wanted to say, this is an internal matter.
Yes.
You guys need, you guys need to sort this out amongst yourselves, and once you've done that, then get back to us.
Yeah, then that's what I'm doing. Yeah, I said that's why
Well,
I'm
that's the problem.
asking.
He's trying to, but they won't
Yes.
engage with him.
Yeah, they ran away.
They
I'm
won't
trying to
engage.
do that.
And
Can
I'm
I
telling you that
just
firsthand. Is go ahead.
can I just say here, unfortunately, Perfect Dawa, I appreciate what you're doing, but I would not respect religions that don't respect human life.
Exactly.
Um,
Absolutely.
when you talk about Islam, I think about Nigeria, right? I think about what's been perpetrated in the name of Islam. Whatever, however you believe it, however you identify, whether you're Sunni, Shia, it's when this religion gets in the hands of that illiterate person who listens to the imams, just listens, takes in every word that they're told, and then acts on those beliefs. That young girl, 22 years old, was killed recently. Her killers, they're walking free. Mubarak is in jail right now, 24 years. He's in there, right? Unfortunately, you cannot tell me that it is one version of Islam that did that, or it's the other version that is good. It's the entire thing. It's the entire thing, the entire religion of Islam. I'm glad that Dean said you guys need to sort yourselves out, because you're giving the religion is, you're giving yourselves a bad name, right? I'm talking about Nigeria. I'm specific here, right? And it's time that people start, challenging these religions, start asking them to provide evidence for Allah. How about show us Allah? How about show us? You understand? It's not enough to just jail people on behalf of Allah. Let Allah do the work himself. Let your God fight for himself. He doesn't need you all to put laws and make people's lives a misery. Enough.
Okay, can I now say something?
Well, 1 second, Double. Just
Yeah.
before you do, I just wanted to say hi to Phil because he's on the screen. So
Hi,
hi,
Phil.
Phil.
Hi.
All right.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us. Okay, go ahead.
Thanks.
Yes. I just would like to say that it is. You cannot say that I have to believe in what Boko Haram or ISIS believe. Okay, no, this is what I believe, and I have the proof, the evidences that I explained for you, that God himself has the right to punish people. We don't have the right to punish people. I have all the evidences. That's why these extremists, they ran away from me. So that's my belief, and I respect your belief too, as long as you are not going to kill people under the name of your religion or your beliefs. Okay, so I didn't say we have to respect ISIS or Boko Haram and such a terrorist organization or their beliefs. I say that as long as it is not harming people, okay, then of course I respect I respect Hinduism, I respect atheism, I respect any really Marxism or whatever. Okay, so
The
and I
problem is
believe that
that harming people
It's not
is
religion.
subjective. If you can say
Yes.
that we atheists are harming people just by your tenets of your religion, you can say that by us speaking out against them or not even accepting them, that we are harming people.
If I said that, if I say that, that's wrong from me. Yeah, I absolutely agree.
How do you
with
know
that.
it's wrong?
Sorry? No, I
How
say
can you
if I say
demonstrate that it's wrong?
no, if I say that you have no right to criticize my religion, it is wrong from me to say that. I say that you have the right to say whatever you want. Okay?
Like, for example, Perfect Dawa, I believe that you are harming people by spreading Islam, even though your Islam is a much more tame, let's say, version of Islam. I believe in my heart that you are harming people.
Okay,
And if I believe that, now I'm justified to do whatever I want, and that's the problem here, isn't it?
Yeah.
No.
The very fact that you are spreading a mild version of this extremist religion is harmful. You should rather be true to the original thing and spread it in all its gory detail for the world to see. The fact that you water it down into a palatable, consumable version that is suitable for Western audiences, that is the harm that
Can
you are
I
doing.
can I just point out that you see this watered down version of Islam when it comes to the point where voices like Perfect Dawa, when it's time for them to speak up, they don't speak up. When that girl died in Nigeria, everyone just went quiet. Nobody had the moderate Muslims had nothing to say because one politician, what's his name, Atiku put out a tweet, against what had happened to this young girl, and the Muslims, they pounced on him. They told him, oh, you want our votes, right? How dare you speak about Islam? How dare you do this, and how dare you do that? And everyone just went quiet when people like your voices were needed. Where were the
So,
moderate Muslims?
yes,
Nobody's saying anything.
cannot say that.
When Mubarak
Hypocrisy
is
at its
sentenced when
finest.
Mubarak is sentenced to 24 years, the moderate Muslims, their voices just for some reason they're not heard. They just go
Yeah,
quiet,
I tell
right?
you which
So what are
reason.
we doing here?
Yeah,
What's the benefit of
Sana,
watering down the religion? And
Sana,
then when your voice is needed, you're quiet.
Sana, let me please explain for you. The problem is that, first of all, you see everything just in Nigeria, okay? You don't see other places. Our voices is not heard because they don't allow us to talk, okay? They don't want to project it. I said that I'm following an organization. We have been fighting 43 years. We have been fighting the godfather of ISIS, the biggest problem in the Middle East, and that has spread a lot of war, conflict in the Middle East, Iranian fascist regime. But the West, they have tried to destroy us. Can you imagine? Because Iranian regime gives them a lot of interest. They can sell a lot of weapons to the Middle East, okay, and they can keep the Middle East backward, okay. So they don't give us voice, not that we don't say anything, okay. And we have a lot of fight against these extremists. We have lost over 100,000 people. And you say all the time Nigeria. As a Muslim, I on my Facebook, I have to tell you honestly that I don't take friends, Muslim friends from Nigeria, for example, because I see them, most of them at least, very extremist. Okay, that's why I don't take them. I take Muslims who have seen the West. Okay, mostly. For example, from Pakistan, I don't take Muslim friends on my Facebook because they are quite extremists. All right, and it is difficult for me to talk to them. That's why I invite them to my channel, and I challenge them so that I can bring that Islam that they say, to give them evidence. I'm not watering down Islam. I'm giving facts that this is not Islam. This is Hadith. This, what they do is Hadith. They follow Hadith over Quran. Quran says no compulsion in religion. You have no right to force people. It says to Prophet Muhammad, I have so many verses I can read for you. Oh Muhammad, you are just delivering the message. It is our right to judge them, not your right. Okay, so there are so many verses, and these people, they just follow a bunch of fabricated hadiths, and their own. I even give them verses of Quran. They say, oh no, a hadith says like this. Okay, so they take hadith over Quran, and
Mhm.
I'm not watering down. Yes.
Okay, so Perfect Dawa, please do not think that I'm coming at you. You must understand my frustrations,
Yeah, I understand
Um
very well. I understand it. Yeah.
so where do I just look for your channel Perfect Dawa on YouTube so I can see what sort of things you're doing, might maybe help the discourse
Very good.
going forward. And also, Would you identify as a Quran only Muslim?
No, I have had debate with Quranists as well. I believe in authentic hadiths that is in line with Quran. If it goes against Quran, then it's absolutely fabricated. And by the way, there is a Christian brother from South Africa. He is admin on my channel, so we have good discussion with Christian, with atheists. We love one another, and I spread the and then you said that I think Dean said that I'm promoting a religion that is like this. No, my religion is just say, as long as you do good deed, you will go to heaven. I've said it many times. You don't have to be a Muslim, okay? So is it bad that I teach such a things that you do good deeds only, okay? Help poor. As you were talking now, you were saying that atheists helping poor, helping people. I say a Marxist who is fighting for people's right, okay, he will go to heaven. Doesn't matter if he believes in Islam or he doesn't believe, okay? As long as he's sacrificing for other people to have a better life, okay? In Quran, mention them as the highest, the righteous people, okay, that will be rewarded heaven. This is absolutely different to this backward extremists who say you are a Sunni, you go to hell. The Sunni says you are a Shia, you go to hell. Okay, they just think that heaven is belonging only to them. That's absolutely wrong.
Okay, I want to let Phil say something real quick.
Are you going to be in Jannah?
Sorry?
Are you going to be in Jannah?
That one I don't know. I said this is as long
because knowing this will greatly influence my decision.
Yeah, but the thing is that I say, what I know,
I have to know if you are going to be there before I decide if I want to go.
No, look, I say that I say that as much as I know Quran, as long as you are a good person and do good deeds, okay, then you will be in heaven, okay. But the final judgment is with God, so we have no guarantee like that, okay. So depend on my good deeds.
I really want my afterlife to be, interesting at the very least.
Dean, I say like this, that what it has to my concern. I'm converted to Islam not because of my afterlife. It's because of now. I want to live in a world peaceful world, loving world. Okay, so I want that. I'm not thinking about afterlife. I say let's love one another. Let's get rid of the source of all bad deeds that guide us to all these bad deeds.
Your problem does not lie with us. Your problem lies with Muslims.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying I didn't call here to debate you. I didn't call. I said I want to just have a talk with you. It is exactly my problem is with them, and I'm fighting them. Yes, exactly. So I just called here to have a nice, friendly dialogue with you and say that there are Muslims like me who have no problem with you. Our problem is with those extremist Muslims who do such a terrible things under the name of my religion that and they give a bad name to me too as well. Okay,
what does the word dawah mean?
Inviting. Yeah.
So what is the purpose of doing dawah?
The purpose of doing dawah for me is inviting them to that way that I explained for you, that we create a loving world, a world where we have peace and love, and don't attack each other, don't kill each other, and get rid of the source of all these bad deeds. Okay,
can we do that without Islam?
Without Islam, I say that we need some guidance. Okay, so if you can do it without Islam,
surely we as humans can decide.
Okay, if you can do it
ourselves, what is good for humanity, right?
Look, Dean, I have said it many times. If you can do it, then I will follow you. Okay, I promise you.
Well, I mean, the Islamic countries aren't doing much better,
No, they are not Islamic countries. They are a bunch of dictators ruling those countries. They are, as I said, one of them is Iranian regime, which is supported by the West and the East, China, Cuba, Russia, USA, Europe. They all support this barbaric regime because they make money. Okay, they can sell their weapons.
What you are describing is it's a utopian dream that you have,
and I believe that is going to happen.
let me just finish my point.
Yes,
what
yes.
I'm trying to say is, we understand what you dream of is the perfect Islamic world, but the thing is, it's not being implemented, so again, your problem is with Muslims and with Islam, because
I know.
It's there's nothing we can do to help you
Exactly.
there, I'm afraid.
And I didn't call. I said that I didn't call to say that my problem is with you. I just wanted to talk to you to say that there is, we don't believe. So please don't attach me to that barbaric Islam that I've been fighting. My brother, by the way,
I get it. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%.
I lost my
Not
brother.
all Muslims are the same.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Good job.
I lost
Carry on
my
doing
brother.
what you're doing.
Right.
There's a lot of Muslims that you need to
even
Go ahead and jump in there, Phil.
Phil.
You got some thoughts?
Yeah, there's something I want to address what Perfect Doll said. He's talking about peace, religion, yeah. But my thing is that you respect people. You don't have to respect a religion. You don't have to respect beliefs. Beliefs are open to criticism. Better is atheists hold in certain beliefs because some atheists hold some really bad beliefs. Whether it's Christian, Hindu, whoever, beliefs are open to criticism. Yes, you want to work for peace, but the peace does not mean that you do not, there's no criticism, there's no looking at beliefs and seeing whether or not they are true. Because my thing is it true? Does it fit reality? And usually religious beliefs, as far as I see, whether it's Hindu, whatever, whichever religion, does not fit reality because they're all based on a shaky foundation, the foundation of faith. As Dean was pointing out, or trying to point out, that you can do all that you describe, Perfect Dog, can be done without subscription to any religion. Good things, people doing good things. That's the main thing. And I think within religion, you do have persons who are good, who wants to do good things. Some might attribute it to their religion, but some persons actually, like I can speak from experience because I was once a fundamentalist Christian. I did good things not just because, and I realized not just because the God, what I believe to be the true God at the point in time, say so, but because I wanted to be a good person, to do good things for others, because I looked out for other human beings. Right? So it's that humanistic aspect, I think a lot of persons who, I guess like yourself, Perfect Dog, are doing things out of goodness rather than because a God says so for the most part. Right? But religious beliefs are open to criticisms. Any beliefs are open to criticisms. My thing is, are they true? Do they follow reality? And part of that is having evidence for those things. Good evidence, not just anecdotes. And when I say anecdotes, persons, I've seen it in Christianity, and I've seen it in Muslim, Hindu, where they will say, this happened because this particular God did this. Right? I'm not denying that persons have experiences, but the explanation for the experience, therein I have the problem. Because you have to provide evidence, and the experience is not the evidence. There have to be a way to have the good evidence. And I've seen the harm, even I'm realizing you're also saying you're looking at the ISIS and the those other radical Muslims, but there's also the psychological effect of religion, even the soft religions, the negative psychological effect on people. When people believe things are not true, they act accordingly to their holy book or to their thing, and cause serious harm, even though they don't mean the harm, psychological harm. And that is the problem, not only with Islam, but also Christianity and a lot of the other religions.
Okay, can I respond to that? My response is, for example, I've seen many Muslims, they debate that, oh, Jesus wasn't crucified or he wasn't son of God and so on. I say that, for example, as I said, there are Christians who calling me. I said that's not my problem right now. My problem right now is people killing each other. People go hungry. Hundreds of millions of people living on $1 a day. My problem is that we have to fix that problem. And when we have fixed all these problems, we have no any other problems, then we can sit and spend tons of hours and talk about if Jesus was crucified or he wasn't crucified. Okay,
Hold on.
I am not talking about that, though. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the psychological effects of the religion on people, the negative psychological effects, because not just physical. As you will know, abuse is not only physical, you can have psychological abuse. And I have seen religion cause a lot of psychological abuse, even though for some they meant well, but it caused psychological abuse because the things are not based, the beliefs are not based on facts. They're not based on evidence. That's what I'm talking about also, because psychological abuse is just as bad as the physical abuse, or even worse. It affects persons for life.
Yeah, that's the question I wanted to ask you too,
something?
Yes. Yes,
go ahead.
please. Yeah, anybody.
Oh, I was going to say
Yes.
that we have here right now a perfect scenario. We have secularists from all over the world. This is we're talking about global secularism. And I think we should move this conversation along. Let's not just center Islam. There's other things that we could talk about. Kaz, if you do not mind, so we're not just
yeah, exactly. I just thanks, Kaz. If you have no question, then I can leave. I appreciate it very much. Okay.
Okay, well,
you have a question? Yes.
Question, but
yes, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you if that's what you truly care about so much.
Yes.
Then you must see that religion itself is a source of those harms that you're so vehement about fighting. So why not just join us?
Okay. The thing is that, all right.
Yes.
No. All right. I see. This is a very long, discussion. I see the source of all problems on this planet. I see economic system, which I call it capitalism. Okay, so some people,
yes, all the problems.
I believe that Islam believe that Satan is nothing but capitalism, and we have to get rid of this system because it encourages people to kill millions of people to become billionaires. Those weapon cartels, for example, Iranian regime, those priests who wanted to be God's, ambassadors, they are killing people because they have gotten billions of dollars under their hand. Those tobacco companies who kill 5 million people on the planet every year is because it gives them billions of dollars. So this is my belief.
We all understand the harms of capitalism.
Yes,
I think,
yes,
to some degree.
Yeah,
but you're saying that it's the source of all the harm.
Yes,
I think that's
this is. We also understand the harm of totalitarianism.
Yes,
one step away from fascism.
Yes, look, totalitarianism is also this. This is my belief that all bad deeds comes from this system, and Satan doesn't exist. This is the Satan. Wow. And when we get rid of this system and live equal, everybody will love one another. There will be no reason that I rob you because everything is, free for people. There is no reason to build create weapons because people don't kill each other. So all these reasons will go away, and we just love one another, and there will be absolute, democracy, absolute democracy. People can say whatever they want. Today, those totalitarian regimes, they are there because they want to, control people so that they can rob people and so on. So this is my belief, and yeah, that's all. And I don't want to disturb you anymore. Yeah,
I really appreciate you sharing that perspective. I would like to set up some time for you and me to just have this conversation one-on-one.
Yes, no problem.
We can actually debate that as much as you like. I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah,
but thank you for stopping by, Dawa, and Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to everyone. By the way, today I go live every Saturday. I go live. You are all welcome to discuss with me there every Saturday, 6 p.m. UK time. Okay. Thank you very much. Take care. Have a nice day. Bye. Bye.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
And in that article that we were talking about before, I just wanted to mention that in India, it's currently controlled by the political arm of the RSS, which is a Hindu nationalist organization. And right now, Modi and they are introducing laws at the national state level to disenfranchise Muslims, ban beef, prohibit religious conversions, take away the autonomy of Muslim majority to build temples and whatnot. So it's kind of a strange dynamic where we have to, on one hand, fight religious oppression of Muslims, and then at the other hand, fight the religious oppressions by Muslims.
So I attended an event recently, the National Secular Society here in the UK. It was a conversation with Muslims. So there were two sects of Islam. One, I forgot the name of it because all just new things to me. I recorded most of because it was interesting to see one sect of Islam saying no, they're the problem, and the other one saying, oh no, you're doing it different, right? And so that event nearly it became heated at one point, and I just sat there looking at these Muslims coming at each other, and it was rather frustrating. And for me, I just saw the face of Islam here in the UK. Kaz, it might be something you might be interested in, like in the future, maybe when you deal with Dawa, and I don't mind sharing some of the links so you can see the state of, because they were talking about Islam here in the UK. One sect saying no, it's that sect that's the problem. No, this sect, you're the problem. Why can't you all just come together and try and resolve this? Why can't so frustrating.
Us is like, when he was speaking and what he was describing, actually what came to my mind is Christianity. The same thing happens in Christianity. Absolutely. You have progressive Christians, you have fundamentalist Christians, you have extreme fundamentalist Christians, and each one is saying, oh, you don't have the right religion, you are doing it wrong, you are not following the scriptures, etc. All make the same claims. That's why I was trying to point out to him. That's why I mentioned about Hindus, the Christianity, all make the same claims. And all will say, oh, you're doing it wrong, you're doing this wrong. But they cannot show how you're doing it wrong. Because they say, oh, you're not following the scriptures. He's saying that these people are not following the Quran because they're creating these hadiths that are not following the teachings of the Quran.
Yeah, you're
all right. It's all man-made. This man-made thing when it comes to religion, where they feel, oh, my religion is correct, yours is incorrect, etc. But when you look at from what I understand with the Quran, there are some things in there that do tell persons, and not in the hadith, to kill the infidel. So the ISIS and those will say, "Look, but you're not following what the Quran actually says here, such and such." So and we get the same thing with Christianity, as you know. So
Boko Haram in Nigeria, when they said, "Look, we've got the right version of Islam, and we're here to clean up Islam. Whatever you all think you're doing, you Islamic people, you're doing it wrong, and we're here to clean it up." That was their motive, right? So not they were out to
And
attack.
they clean it up by force. They separate. They separate limbs from bodies.
Kidnap your girls. They had no respect for nobody, whether you're a Muslim, because as far as they're concerned, people like Dawa, Perfect Dawa, right? He's got the wrong version of Islam, and they're here to clean him up. If they had to kill you, they'll kill you, right? That was there. So which one of these people is right then? Which one of them is right?
This is the thing, right? This is what I'm saying is like people, those mild Muslims are normalizing this kind of thing, and because it's been normalized by the gentle Muslims, that's why the extremists like the Boko Haram, the ISIS, Islamic State, they get a free pass because of these people who are presenting a very mild, gentle Muhammad and gentle Allah to people, but where it matters, where the rubber hits the road, Boko Haram, ISIS, and the other people are sitting there waiting for you, So that's why I'm very, very reluctant to even engage with people like Perfect Dawa, because it only the small exposure that we give him does harm. It does harm in the sense that he's normalizing Islam by presenting this mild version. That's why, but that's just my opinion,
But you realize that because he was focusing on the physical harm, to me, that ISIS and those other fundamentalist groups cause, but I wanted also to focus on the mental aspects of religion, because these progressive Christians, the mild or moderate Islamists, mild, moderate Hindus, they will focus on the physical harm, but you have to look also at the psychological harm of the religion. And that is, as we know, physical harm is just an aspect of it, but the psychological harm especially causes damage for life, and creates serious problems. And then all of them are based on faith. And faith is not the best method of determining whether or not something's true. And they make bad decisions based on the faith. We know that, right? So it's saying that you want for peace and so on. Yeah, but how do we achieve peace if we have bad methodologies of determining how to make decisions?
Islam's idea of peace is one piece of you here, one piece of you there, one piece of you there after they cut you.
Yikes.
All I want is peace. I want peace, Habibi. A piece of you here and a piece of you there.
But that is why we have secularism. When you look at the secular countries, those that are really secular, they tend to thrive better. Why is it? And just blaming the Boko Haram, just blaming the radical Muslims and say, well, they have these countries that way. Some countries don't have or might be moderate in their thinking, making money, but still on the line, people are kept in submission. They can't really speak out as they need to, right? And those countries don't really thrive. When we look at the statistics, it's the secular countries, the ones that are really secular, that are really progressing. And a lot of the ills that the countries that hold to religion are suffering, especially, let's say, like STDs and so on, extreme pregnancies, having large numbers of pregnancies. The other countries don't, because they promote proper sex education, protecting oneself, condoms, protection is made available without stigma. So the numbers of pregnancies decrease. There's no criminalization of sex work, right? But sex workers are taught how to protect themselves. Well, so when you look at these statistics, when you look at it, you realize, and look at the others, the main thing there, secular countries, they do not, the governments don't promote a particular religion. You're free to worship whoever you want to worship, but the laws that are made for the country are not based on religious thinking. Whereas the others, problems. Here in Barbados, we have problems because laws were based on Christian religion. Just recently, judge overturned the decriminalized the LGBTQ. That was on the law books for a long time, and some Christians saying, "Oh, it should be there, or we going down a slippery slope." Now they allow for marriage, and they want to impose their beliefs. They are not radical, like in terms of going and hold people to a gun, but they've tried to influence the laws of the country, which affect everybody else that don't hold their views, that don't believe in their sky daddy.
Right.
So,
Phil, tell us about you, because we don't usually get anybody from the Caribbean on this show. So tell us about you. Tell us about the secular community in your area.
Okay. As I just described, first of all, Barbados, the Caribbean, I can tell you, Caribbean is highly religious, Christian wise, right? And I grew up as a fundamentalist Christian home, and a home was a fundamentalist Christian and so on. But similar to how what Esther described and Dean described, thinking things through and logically and reasonably, right? I came to the point where I realized, there's no good evidence for this, and it's harmful and dangerous. So, but here we have just a young organization called Humanist Barbados, which I'm a part of, and we are
in the chat.
There's only about 2-3 years. Yeah, you can. They are on Facebook, online, Humanist Barbados.
Humanist Barbados. Okay.
Yeah, and they are secular. Have been pushing since Barbados have decided to go republic. Have been pushing for removal of God from the Constitution, to make the Constitution more secular, right? Also to push for LGBTQ rights plus rights. And I mean, Barbados right now is slowly churning, and it was a good thing when the court justice struck down those criminalization of buggery, what they call buggery laws and so on, because they are disadvantaging LGBTQ, even though it's on law books and might not necessarily be enforced. People still have this entitlement to demoralize and marginalize LGBTQ, right? And they do suffer, because if I know a trans woman who was discriminated against because When she declared she was doing an interview, and when she declared she was trans, the interview went south. And that's happened to a number of times. It's hard for her to get a job here. Then on top of that, the stats is showing that Barbados and the Caribbean countries who still hold to these views are losing billions of dollars in revenue because, of course, LGBTQ persons will avoid as much as possible working here or setting up here to work because of the discrimination. Yeah, and but that's a very small nutshell. There's a lot that's going on, and I am in the education system, and I can tell you the educational system here, even though it's public school, it's Christianized. The government pushes Christian devotions. It is even though the government claims to be secular. And there are some other issues going on in there, which I think the government is now trying to slowly change, but a lot of the teachers are Christians, and the comments that you hear because of the direction to move away from certain things that people hold to as Christians, it's they're trying to keep some noise.
No, I understand. Thank you for joining us too. It's really great to see Humanist Barbados represented here on Atheist Edge. That's pretty cool.
You're welcome.
Let me go ahead and show up the next story that I had pulled up for you guys. This is from what is this? From BBC. Indonesia passes criminal code banning sex outside of marriage. So now they have a new law. There was a law on the books before that had a slightly different tune to it, but this one now will carry a term of 1 year in jail, and it takes effect in 3 years. Several groups, mainly young people, protested against it, expected that the law will be challenged in court, but it applies to foreigners, people who live there, and visitors, people who come there for vacation.
No,
it's already been.
They've since said it doesn't apply to foreigners. They've made sure to point that out now, that this isn't applicable to foreigners.
Oh, really? So this is wrong. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we will have to double check any facts we get from this then. But thank you for correcting that.
No, they updated that was correct at that time, but there was uproar from people saying, "Oh, how are you going to police foreigners? You can't police them. You can't say someone comes into your country for holiday and they find themselves in jail for 1 year." And so they then came up with an update and said, "No, it doesn't apply to foreigners." So that was right as at the time when it was published.
That's crazy. Apparently, it's like 600 clauses in this new law, and it's going to criminalize other things like immorality and blasphemy, and restrict political and religious expression as well. So that's a big deal. Heart goes out to any people in Indonesia.
I mean, this is the problem with a theocracy. It's you cannot run a country by a set of laws that are millennia old. Societies progress. The social landscape changes on such a frequent basis. I mean, things that we considered completely taboo 50 years ago are commonplace today. So it doesn't make sense to try and build a progressive society that works for everybody involved based on 2 millennia old laws from one particular segment of that society. It'll never work in the long run, and it just sits wrong with me, because I always want things to be fair. I don't know, there's this egalitarian element within my nature where any injustice or something that's unfair, it just grates me the wrong way, and I can't bear to see it. And when things like this are enforced, because I mean, how are they going to implement this? You know, are you gonna sit outside people's bedroom? You know, are you gonna who's gonna know that you
They're going to rely on third-party reporting.
who's
No,
gonna know
no,
that you
Jane.
played with the
They're going
neighbors?
to,
No.
they're going to put a meter on the private parts of the unmarried.
The boner meter.
There you go.
Oh, and also
Or-
just so you know
Mhm.
that Indonesia is predominantly Muslim. 90% of the population are Muslims. So just pointing that out. So
and we Indonesia right before was known as one of the secular Muslim countries,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but now they have moving towards back towards as they say the theocracy sort of thinking,
But wait a
which
minute,
is
isn't
really
Bali?
sad.
Bali is in Indonesia, you know, and like I was just thinking, like, you know, how are they going to get
Tourists.
all the lady boys out of the bars, and then you know, I mean, like it's like one of the capital destinations for you know, for plastic surgery as well. People who want to go
Yeah.
through transition surgery and that kind of thing. That always used to happen in these Indonesian countries. So that's probably all going to go up in smoke, and it's you know, all because of somebody's religion. You know, what an utter load of nonsense.
Yeah, one of the dangers. That's what it's saying. When you look at the stats and look at Muslim countries, look at religious countries, they suffer because they implement these archaic laws, and it has serious effects for their economy, and they think, yeah, they're following their sky daddy or whatever, or sky mummy, right? And I mean, the kind of Hindu, you got to talk about Hindu.
Phil, there's usually no sky mummies. The mummies,
But in Hinduism.
Okay, all right, maybe.
Right, that's why it says sky mummy. That's why it says sky mummy.
Generally, then.
Yeah, but generally, yeah, it's sky daddy.
Yes.
Right? So, doing that, we can see the clear negative effects of these things. And they have enough history, enough statistics to show the negative effects, but they don't care about that. That's the problem. Is blinders are on when it comes to religion, and that's why I said whether I don't care whether it's soft, hard, or not. The blinders are on and it creates problems, right? And the soft encourages or helps the fundamentalists to still continue to do what they're doing. As you can see, this company say, look, the soft ones, they will say, oh, you're not following the religion, and they don't care, right?
Exactly.
So,
you know, the funny thing is, this will always stick with me. It was a debate or a speech or something that Hitchens did, where he said, it's only now that religion comes to us with outstretched hands like a merchant in a bazaar, but they have no right to forget how they behave when they think that they are strong. And, you know, it sticks with me to this day, because this is what we experience now. You know, people come to us with, you know, oh, you know, religion makes me a good person, and, you know, look at all the good that religion does. But then you reflect on how countries where a particular religion is in the majority, like in the Middle East, for example, and you see how they behave when they think that they are in the majority. You know, look at the rights for women have absolutely no place in that ideology. You know, anything that is different or considered outside of the framework of that religion is not simply dismissed; it's crushed. It's crushed. You know, there's no tolerance for diversity, for inclusion, for new ideas, and that goes 180 degrees against what we stand for as a free Western democratic society. It's the exact antithesis.
Yeah, it's against secularism, you know. It's secularism, as I said, it allows for persons. Secularism is where it allows for persons to have freedom of religion or non-religion. But as soon, we know from history again, look at it. Protestants took over England, the UK. The Catholics, everybody else suffered. Everybody else suffered who didn't believe. Protestants took over. Everybody else suffered who didn't believe. Even some Protestants that hold different beliefs to those who were in power. History, we see it in history. And we are seeing the same thing is happening in the United States with Scotus trying to implement their form of Christianity on everybody, right? And I have seen it in the Caribbean, and there are some Caribbean islands that are worse, like Jamaica, than Barbados. Because Barbados, I would say education has helped a lot, but there's still a lot they are holding on to, and that the Christians know that the government apparently seemingly trying to make certain changes. They still keep noise and trying to suppress it, right? So yeah.
Well, on the lighter note, let me just highlight this little story that came out. Atheist pirates remove religious signs from LA streets. So this is a story about
pirates. I didn't know there was,
atheist pirates.
I didn't know there were atheist pirates. I would like to be recruited as a pirate.
Well, you can.
Let's go on a
Turns out you can be.
looting spree. Hey.
It's part of a group called the Atheist Street Pirates. That's what they're called. They're they have a team of lookouts who track and occasionally take down illegally posted public street signs and whatever you see those signs on the here's the one in the picture here. You see those signs on the corner. Jesus is the way, the truth, blah blah blah. Yes. So it turns out some of these are posted illegally, and if they are, you can take them down.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Right, especially if they're posted on public, the government property and government land, it's illegal, right? Especially federal property.
Yeah,
there was a case here in the UK where this church, churches would put their little leaflets outside church. You have their notice board, and they put outside there, receive Jesus or you burn in hell, that sort of thing. Put pictures of the nice little fireplace to remind you what the hell is going to look like. And the people in the community, they came together and said, we don't appreciate that. We don't appreciate you telling us that we will burn in this place. And so as a community, what they decided to do, they went to the MP. The MP went in as a group, right? We don't appreciate this church having these signs condemning us as a community. That's hate speech. And they agreed with the community, and they asked the church to take down all those threatening what do you call them, threatening leaflets, because Christianity has that thing of hell and heaven, and if you don't receive Jesus, you will burn in this eternal fire. And so they go out there with that message to threaten people so you can receive their savior Jesus. So I think that's the way forward, right? To so that people start to realize what you think is your what they call your proselytizing, trying to win people for Christ. It's hate speech.
It's speech, yeah.
It is hate speech. You're telling people a place that you don't even know whether do you know whether hell exists or not? Have you been there? No, nobody's been, right? And come back and told us what. Well, you hear all those weird stories. Oh, I went to hell. I saw this and I saw that. Or just silly claims. But no, we don't need to see that. We don't need to see it. You can keep that within your churches. Keep that within yourself. Don't put it out in the community. We don't need to see that.
You're absolutely right.
Actually, now you say that, that brings to mind some of the things that I've heard in assembly at schools. Doing the same thing, telling persons that they need Jesus, and somewhat even telling them if they don't have Jesus, they can't live their best life, which is almost like a threat. And I think even sometimes the thing of hell too, right? And and this is in public schools. This is not in a Christian school. These public schools. I mean, sadly, when I was a fundamentalist Christian, I told the children they needed Jesus. Until I then started realizing, no, I cannot be pushing my religion. Still a Christian, but I realized, no, I cannot. This is not right. I should not be pushing my beliefs on these children. You know, they are persons that have different varying beliefs. This is not right. And I started, my tone during that time changed completely. Right? But it is sad that that is allowed in a public school. That is allowed in a public school. And bringing gospel groups into the school and telling the children they have to go to the assembly to listen to the gospel group. And then there's a altar call. Imagine that. This is public school during school time. And this gets me really, really peeved. I remember they also tell the children close their eyes when you're praying. Some children have their eyes open. Now I see children their eyes open. I didn't say a word, but I realized some teachers going, oh, close your eyes, and then they want to punish the children for not closing their eyes.
Yeah.
And also there's some things, the entitlement that I still know we talk about this, the entitlement. The entitlement, Christians feel entitled. It's not only Christians, but the same thing will happen in any era. Hindu, if the Hindus, the government is pandering to Hinduism, pandering to Muslim, they're going to feel entitled that they have the right to do these things in the public arena.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't realize that these things, as I said correctly said, trying to scare people into hell is a threat.
It is.
If somebody hold a gun to your head and you go and report it to the police to threaten you to do something, they will get locked up. But these people can come and make these threats, right? And it's okay.
But
it's the same thing. Yes,
Phil,
yes, sir.
Never mind. Jesus loves you. He loves you so much.
Yeah.
He's going to. If you don't receive him into your heart, he's going to burn you for all of it. But he loves you.
Oh yeah, that is the height of abuse.
Yeah.
You know, we always talk about that. That is the height of abuse.
Yeah.
Abusive spouse saying, "Oh, I love you, but you gotta do this, otherwise I can put you in the dungeon, in the basement, in the heat for so many hours, or put a slap around your head, or give you a cuff, punch you." Abuse. It is abuse, and I mean, now I am totally out. I can see, and I always see it as the abusive spouse,
Yeah.
right? And if you don't do this,
yeah, I want to start a religion, and I want to base it on Star Trek. You know?
Ooh.
Oh no,
seriously.
I'm not going to sign on to that religion.
No, hear me out.
Oh, here we go. Because whatever. Listen.
Whatever you say, she does not want to hear it.
Dean,
she's like, done.
Let me just tell you, when you set up your religion, just take me to hell already. I'm not
Hear me out. Right? I'm going to take the best parts
You could be
of
the devil.
Star Trek, and I'm going
Yeah.
to amalgamate this into a new religion. You know, like heaven is going to be like a holodeck. You can go and you can experience anything that you want, right?
Yeah.
The logic of the Vulcans, the inclusivity of the Federation.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
She's
so
like,
anybody's
Yeah.
welcome, whatever species, whatever planet, wherever, it's going to be all inclusive, and it's going to be
Any
logical.
culture.
Yeah, logic is
Do we
going to
get, do
rule.
we get to
And
do we
when
get
you
to wear
die,
Star
you go
Trek
to the
costumes?
holodeck. You go spend your time on the holodeck forever.
Do we get
No,
to
but-
wear costumes? Star Trek costumes.
Star Trek
Light-
costumes.
Yes.
We get to have lightsabers.
No, that's
No, but I
Star
mean-
Wars.
No,
This-
triquarters.
But
Yeah, I don't
seriously,
even know.
but seriously,
I don't even know
like,
the difference.
that Star Trek represents a fictional version of a possible future, right?
Yeah.
You don't agree
Yeah.
with that? And
Yeah.
it's
it
a future
does.
that can only come about if humans make it happen, right?
Yep.
Exactly.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
in
I
order
think
to do that,
Islam
you
are
have
like
to
the
work towards
Klingons.
it, right? You have to
Yeah,
work
yeah,
towards that future, right? And in order to
Because-
do that, well, I just want to say that if you're working towards
Mhm.
that future, you're going to have something akin to faith, where you're saying,
Yeah.
I believe that this is the future I want for my species,
Yeah.
and I'm going to work towards
Oh
it,
yeah.
regardless of if it's possible, regardless of if it's plausible, if it's feasible.
Mm-hmm.
If everybody else is
Yeah.
going to turn on me and treat me like an outcast for it, I'm still going to work towards that future because I have this thing, quote unquote, like faith. I don't know what the proper term for
Yeah.
that would be. I'd say trust and hope, maybe, but
Yeah, maybe faith is muddying the waters a little bit, you know, because I'm sure as a society
Definitely.
people can agree upon, you know, there could be agreement and consensus about what the ideal society would be that they are working towards. And you know,
Mhm.
faith is using the word faith in that sense. I don't know, you know, it's sort of like an idea without evidence, or how do you?
well, it is right. A possible future. There's no reality to it. It's just a possibility, a hypothetical.
Yeah.
It's an
But
ideal.
you're trying to
you
make
know,
it
like
happen,
an
right?
ideal,
Like if you see a person that you want to have a relationship with, that relationship isn't real. You want to make it.
Yeah.
real. So you have to.
But
work
you-
towards it.
But you realize that even in Star Trek, it shows you the the other show. There's the other show, the Orville, which is similar. They show you the challenges with trying to have this not utopian, but where everybody's working together regardless of the pluralistic thing. And I gotta say that Star Trek was one of the shows that aid in my deconstruction. It got me questioning stuff about God and about, you know, live long and prosper. Yeah.
I'm telling you,
And I
we
mean-
can make a religion out of Star Trek. We just have to be very, very selective.
Yeah. So, but what I like is that it shows you the challenges because it gets you to think. If we have a society like this, yes, you're still going to have challenges because we realize there are some people who still holding on to their faith despite the prime directive. And of course, some of the persons, the characters there are have a challenge with when they encounter certain cultures that are still quote unquote backward in their thinking, even though they won't say it, you know, right? That's similar. And I saw a lot of Christianity, even though it was framed in a different religion, the culture, the same sort of underlying psychology, right? The same sort of underlying psychology, control, basically psychological control, wearing the blinders, etc. Despite persons trying to logically and reasonably show them, look, this is not the best way. And then you had a few, like the atheists equivalent, who were thinking logically, who were thinking reasonably, but they were marginalized because of how they were exposing the flaws in this culture or religious way of thinking.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about that and the Orville. And by the way, the person who produced the Orville, he is a atheist. So, but
Yeah.
what I
wanna
like
hear
to
why
he
Esther
deals
hates
with right, but he deals also he shows deals with LGBTQ issues, but he does it from a smart way. Yeah, where you have this culture who are all homosexuals, right? And when a female was born, they try to change the
The gender of the
sex,
child,
the
yes.
gender, because they saw it as taboo. But it is a play, it's showing, okay, look, let's suppose that it was homosexual, just a homosexual population, right? And then you have where some persons are different, appears different, but people are trying to fit them into this general mode. Is trying to show, look at yourself now. You are heterosexual. You are doing the same thing to those persons who
Right.
you perceive as being different.
Mhm.
But he comes from that direction where he says, suppose it's homosexual, okay, they will sit down, watch and say, oh yeah. But then it gets you to think, but if it's the same thing with the heterosexual, we are all heterosexuals. If a lot of us are heterosexuals, and there's some who are identifying differently or appears different, seem to be different to how we are thinking or how we are, and how do we treat them? Right? We treat them
Right.
like taboo. Is that right? So it's kind of in a smart way getting to the realization, bringing people to the realization, look at yourself.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I like that science fiction gives you these analogies using alien species or civilizations as an aspect of human nature to
Human nature, yes.
highlight the differences. Like Star Trek is just notorious for doing that. But Esther, why don't you like Star Trek?
Oh, no. I just generally not keen on sci-fi, anything, science fiction, that sort of thing. Just not my kind of thing. But
Forte.
because you guys are going on about this, you might just because I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't like to. Well, at the time, right? I didn't like
Mhm.
anything that just isn't grounded in reality, right? This make believe, or because when I watch it, the couple of ones I've watched, I'm thinking, okay, so this can never happen, right? So in a million years, this is not going to happen. So why am I bothering watching this, right? So sci-fi, anything sci-fi, just name it,
And-
whatever it is. When I look
Yeah.
at it, see the genre, it is. I don't bother. So Star
But-
Trek,
That's
Yeah.
the point.
Star Wars,
But that's
anything.
yeah.
The reason
But
why
there's
I like
not all
sci-fi is
sci-fi.
because it
Mhm.
has a tinge of reality to it. Usually,
Yeah.
not all of it. I mean,
Not
like Star
all- not
Wars,
all
for example, has
sci-fis.
like no reality to it. But Star
Correct.
Trek specifically, there's
Star
always
Trek.
some
Mhm.
real scientific explanation you can dig into
Simulation.
where
Yep.
they at least kind of got it from, And,
Yeah.
But I see where you're coming from. That's why I don't like fantasy. I don't like magic shows and stuff because like there's no rules. I can't follow this. There's no logic here. You can just do whatever you want. Just, I magic
But-
magic
but
that,
listen,
magic this.
listening to you guys, you may just be roping me in a little by little. We'll see what happens. You called it Orville, yes? Orville.
The Orville. The Orville.
That sounds like something I would want to watch.
Yeah, the Orville. They have similarities to Star Trek, but Star Trek. I found for me that Star Trek was one of the closest science fictions to actual reality, and because of Star Trek, devices like these, which you were thought not possible, because that was the concept on Star Trek. Tricorders, these sort of devices became reality because of the sort of thinking. Even there are physicists who follow Star Trek, that look at the physics of
Yeah.
And consult for
time
it, too.
travel and so on. They actually brought that wormholes and so on, and wormholes are theoretically possible.
Right.
Right? So to me, Star Trek is closest, and the Orville. They tend to be similar. Some of the other sci-fis is like, not that thing, but they got me to think.
Don't start with Japanese sci-fi.
Totally different subject.
Yeah.
Oh,
We should start winding it.
when you talk about Japanese, my older son, he's now starting to speak Japanese because of the things
Woo!
him and his friends, they're planning a trip to Japan in 2020.
Whoa!
As if they can gather enough money, these boys.
Money.
But whatever they watch on my son's room is
Japanime.
my son, his room is covered in these anime posters. He's got he's got books. He's so into his Japanese stuff. It's interesting.
It is interesting. I personally don't like the in the shows, the anime shows, they over emote. They're so hyperbolic with every emotion, and that just turns me off personally. But I think we should start winding it down, guys. What do you think? We've been in here 2 hours. Let's get out of here, huh? Let's start enjoying our Happy New Year. Start drinking or whatever you're gonna do. Smoking, drinking, having a great time.
I hate making New Year's resolutions, but I think.
Oh no, I don't do that.
It's only appropriate that we at least select one thing that we would like to see change in the world, and I think we can all agree that we want to see less religion and more secularism. But let me start with myself. Personally, I wish for more tolerance. Because this actually cuts both ways. Because sometimes I also reflect on. When I'm approached with a lot of bullshit every day, I become extremely intolerant, and I'm very quick to forget that I was also once in that position. Where I was also ignorant to new ideas and closed-minded to new ideas. So that's my New Year's resolution, is maybe just to be a little bit more tolerant and less dismissive.
It's a good resolution. Personally, I think that I'm going to try to. I'm on the spot. When you guys go first, let me think a little bit more.
Yes, same here. But I mean, just for me, I'm passionate about Africa. That for me will always be the goal. Moving forward, the direction of my channel, because I'm African, and yes, I live in the UK, but I see how religion still impacts on the society over there, and I feel like they need more voices when it comes to having secularism and free thought. So I'd like to see more and more people. They are there. The people who are on the ground doing the work, but it's just promoting these people, giving them a voice. And also, Mubarak Bala, whatever you all do, always remember that if you're an atheist, just, that there's someone in jail right now for 24 years just for simply identifying as what you identify as. So you appreciate what the space that you have. You appreciate the country that you're in. And, if you can, he's actually still active on Facebook, like it or not, he is there. If you send him a request, he, whenever he can, right? I don't know how he does it, but whenever he can, he's able to have a little access, and he can, So, I guess we can be better and do better as people. There is no God coming to save us. We are the ones who will save ourselves and our families. No one's coming to save you. Jesus ain't coming for you. God ain't coming for you. You save yourself. So
We save each other.
we save each other too. Yes,
Yeah.
Kat. Yes.
Let's help each other. Let's please, if you can, give some money to that campaign to try to help free Mubarak. And just we all have to look out for each other because they're coming for us. They're coming for all of us. There's somebody coming for you. There's always somebody who wants to take what you have and usurp you. We all just need to work together so that can stop. Cooperation is the key to defeating this competitive nature of ours. Just cooperate with each other, please. So again, I just want to say thank you all for joining me tonight. Let everybody know where you guys are each from. Dean, you first. Once again,
Me.
Yeah, where are you from again?
Atheist Republic in Cape Town. We are an international organization with Facebook groups in basically every single country. In most countries, there's more than one group for each major city that's in there. If you feel the need for community, if you want to meet like-minded people, if you've just had enough Christmas and it's coming out the one year and you need you need a palate cleanser, feel free, look up your local atheist community Facebook group. You'll find people just like you in there, creating community, conversation, and that's where I'm from. You can also find us on YouTube. There's the main Atheist Republic channel, and then various other consulants are doing their own thing. We're completely community driven. Look for us online.
All right, thank you, Dean. And Phil.
Yeah, I'm from Barbados. I'm in the Caribbean. And I have a channel called the Caribbean Skeptic Secularist, the CCSS. And my thing is looking at also the effects of Christianity and religion in the Caribbean. All right. And what I'm trying to do also is to provide exposure to what's going on in the Caribbean, and for those in the Caribbean who cannot really come out, to have a landing pad or some place where they can come and be able to and realize that they're not alone. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Phil. And one last time, Esther, where can people find you? What are they going to see when they go there?
So on YouTube, I'm the TheAfroAtheist. I'm very, very active on there. We do live streams, and I try to put out videos. But come the new year, I'm going to be busy, so the live streams will have to be reduced a little bit. But yes, the TheAfroAtheist. I'm on there. I'm also on TikTok now. I didn't know that TikTok was a thing. I'm on there, and for some reason the TikTokers seem to like what I've got to say. So I'm on there as the TheAfroAtheist too. Let's keep this conversation going. Let's promote positive atheism. We can be good. We are good without God, right? And so in the future, in going on in 2023, Kaz, I'm going to have to get you on my channel yes, we need to bring you over there to come and speak. Yes. And Dean, when are you coming?
Anytime. I'm a message away.
All right, fantastic. So 2023, these fine men are going to be on my oh, I can't wait.
2023. Definitely going to do a lot more work on the channel. I definitely want to reach out to a lot more people and do all that. But I was going to say, if you forgot to mention it, that your TikTok is fire, Esther. I was going to mention that because I've watched. I think I've come across your videos without. I think I came across one of your TikToks before even knowing who you were in the atheist community.
Oh, really?
Not me. I'm not on TikTok. My partner, my wife is. So she actually showed. I think she showed me one of your TikToks before. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Can you please put in? Can you please put in the private chat your link, please, Kaz?
My TikTok link?
No. How to reach you? so we
Oh,
can
yeah,
arrange
yeah.
something for the new year.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I'll do that right away. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get out of here now. Just wanted to say thank you all for joining us. So much for all the comments in this in the comment section and the live chat. Join us, hit subscribe, like the stream. I'll have more videos coming your way very soon. I don't know what the next one's gonna be next week, but I'm working on it. Love you guys all. Happy New Year, and remember,
Bridges we build, not the bridges we burn, that give us the edge.